Okay, so today is workshop number 5. This is going to be the troubleshooting workshop, learning how to identify and repair problems that you might encounter with the bike. It's also going to serve as kind of a pretty good method of seeing what you've actually learned, what you remember, all that good stuff. So basically what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk to you about how to go through a bike front to back and check all the systems, everything on a bike, making sure everything is okay. And then you're going to come up here and you're going to try it. There are 7 very acutely wrong problems with this bike that we have built up over four previous sessions. So we'll just go right into it and talk about how to go through it. So we've got this checklist right here. When I go through a bike, I go front to back. Start from the front and I work to the back. Over the course of the entire checkout, we will hit every one of these points, but it won't necessarily be in that order. I find without the checklist, it's easier to go front to back to remember in my mind where I am in the course of the checkout. So we'll just go right into it. Starting from the front to the back, you're going to check the wheels. You're going to check air pressure, the tires, to make sure they're not dry rotted. You're going to check the spokes and the rim to make sure they're in good condition. You're going to check the trueness of the wheel. You can do that just by spinning the wheel and looking at it relative to the brake pads. You're going to check to make sure that the quick release is tight, or if they're bolts, to make sure the bolts are tight. You're going to check to make sure the cones are tight. To do that, you just simply wiggle the wheel back and forth this way, and you'll feel it pretty easily. If it's
Cones?
the cones, the bearing system that's in the hub, the bearing compression system. Remember what you're looking for there is you want it to be tight enough so that there's no play, but loose enough so that there's no resistance. It can be a fine line. Then you're going to look at the brakes, make sure the brakes are in good shape. You're going to check your pads, you're going to check to make sure the springiness is all right. You're going to make sure that the cable looks okay, you've got a cable ferrule on the end, the housing looks all right. You're going to check the action of the brake lever itself to make sure that it does in fact work. That it doesn't have to come too far before it engages, but that at the same time it's not actually rubbing the rim all of the time. You're going to check the headset. Again, it's a bearing system. It works just like the hubs. You've got compressions going on here. You want to make sure that it's the correct tightness. Again, you do it exactly the same way as checking the cone. You just grab the fork and the stem or the handlebar or wherever. You're going to wiggle it and see if there's any play. You're going to turn it as well to make sure that it's not too tight. You'll feel a lot of resistance if it is. You're going to check to make sure that the brake levers and shifters are on tight and that there are grips. Just kind of because you've got a lot of cable and housing going on up here, you're going to give it a quick look to make sure everything up here looks okay, the housing is in good shape. You're going to check to make sure the stem is straight and that the handlebars are not wiggly, loose. We're going to come back here, looking at the frame, making sure there's no cracks or problems with the frame itself. Since we're on the frame, we're going to go ahead and finish the frame. And it looks okay. You're going to check the drive. So you're looking for the bottom bracket to be, again, it's a bearing system, so you want it to be the correct compression, but not too compressed. This particular bicycle has a cartridge sealed bottom bracket, so you actually are not going to have any ability to adjust the compression of the bearings. It's just a cartridge that screws into the threads. So if there were something wrong with that, you would have to replace the whole cartridge. You can't just fix it. You're going to check to make sure the crank arms are on tight. You're going to check to make sure the pedals are all right. You're You're going to check to make sure that the front derailleur is on tight, correctly positioned, and that it works. So you're going to check the cable, the housing. You're going to check the shifter. Will be the left side. Should be. You're going to check to make sure that it works through its full range of motion. Continuing back, we've got the saddle post assembly. You're going to make sure that's on tight and straight. You're going to check the rear brakes. Again, exactly the same way as you did the front, checking the cables, the housing, the lever, making sure everything's working correctly, the pads. You're going to check the rear wheel, so the rims, the spokes, just like the front, the trueness, the cones. You're going to check the tire, air pressure, things like that. And then finally, you're going to get to the cassette, or in this situation, it's a freewheel cassette, and the rear derailleur. So you're making sure that the rear derailleur, everything about it is correct. Limiting screws are adjusted correctly. The cable is correctly tensioned. There's nothing wrong with the cable or the housing. The derailleur moves fluidly in and out. Relax the cable. And your nuts are tight. And that will cover the whole bike.
What about the carburetor?
Those are on motorcycles.
Oh!
Motor bicycles.
Yeah.
Or mopeds. There's a mark on the seat post that will say max height. If it doesn't say that, I guess I don't know what the technical general rule is, but I would say you want probably at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches of tube in the seat tube, of post in the seat tube. Just on the fly. Nobody's ever actually told me what the true technical limit is, but
okay, cool.
1.5 inches to 2 inches. If there's no mark, usually there's a mark that'll say maximum seat height. So that's it. And as far as if you do encounter a problem, stop and fix it right then before continuing on.
You talking about today or
Today, and yeah, I mean,
in life.
yeah, fix the problems right now. If it's a bike that you're unfamiliar with, you might want to go through the whole thing first just to see what you're dealing with. We're familiar with this bike. I have told you that there are 7 acutely wrong problems, issues with the bicycle, and so for the sake of today, stop and fix what you encounter when you encounter it. If it's a bicycle that you're familiar with, that's a good policy. If it's a bicycle that you're unfamiliar with, you might want to give it a full once over before you start fixing stuff. Because you might encounter something later on that's just makes the rest of the bike totally worthless after you put in 3 hours of repair work. So,
another thing, Rick,
sir.
you were talking about the frame.
Yes.
How do you know if there is something wrong with the frame? What should I look for?
You want to look for cracks. You want to look for dents, divots, bends, obvious damage. Generally speaking, if there's something wrong with the frame that will make it hazardous to ride, there will be an obvious point of damage there. If there's not obvious damage, then it's probably okay. The only way to actually know for sure is to stress it to the point of failure. There you go. So,
It's a real heavy friend to
right.
get on 400
Right,
pounds.
right. So if you see a crack,
Put a helmet on him,
if you see a big fat crack right there, there's probably something wrong with it. If you see a little teeny tiny dent, probably okay. If you see a big dent, probably something wrong with it. That's kind of a use your own judgment sort of thing. It will get to a point where it does become technically too dangerous to ride, but if there are minor frame damages, and you know about them and are comfortable riding with them, it's probably okay. You might want to pay attention and take it easy on the frame, on the bike itself, but it probably will be okay. So yeah, if you want to come up and Start from front to back. I know what all 7 are. Now remember, the problems are acute. So if it looks like it might be okay, then it more than likely is.
Yeah, this gives you a side-to-side play here, so I would guess you've got the next one.
Those are your cones. The cones are too loose. So how do you fix that?
Well,
You were here for the last class,
Yes.
or the wheels class, so you should know how.
I would think that you really can't do too much with these
Correct.
outside things. I think the inside nuts would probably have to be adjusted. It looks like there's 2 nuts here. They're
Yep.
getting smaller. And this side doesn't, it's got get a tool like that. I'm
So-
not sure which of those nuts has to be played with.
Right. So to find it out, the first step is to take the wheel off.
Which means quick release.
You'll want to disengage the brakes as well. So you've got on this style brake. Sometimes they're different. You may have to loosen up the quick release a little bit. Go ahead and just unscrew it from the bottom. There you go. So you remember what I was telling you on that one, the wheels class, about how to adjust the cones? What you're looking for? Okay.
So I just
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I'm
So,
not sure whether to start there or there.
okay.
Probably the inside.
The first step is you're going to see which one is loose. So you can see this side is the side that's loose. The reason why the cones have loosened up is because the lock nut is too loose. It's not tight against the cone. This is the lock nut, and the inside is the cone. So the lock nut is not tight enough against the cone. So
So that inside one really doesn't adjust it for this one.
it will eventually be adjusted, need to be adjusted. First you're going to want your tools. Oh yeah, I guess I should have mentioned I've set out the tools that you will need to fix all of the problems. So
I think even finger tightening is proven.
yes,
Probably needs-
you absolutely need to use the tools to tighten them.
This gear is used for the inside.
Uh-huh.
The outside.
Yes.
Do I have to tighten them separately or just
You have
hold
to tighten them together against each other. Yeah, perfect. Good and snug. Good, that's good. Now go ahead and check the cones again to see how they are. They might be too loose, they might be too tight. Grab the cones themselves when you do it. How does that feel? Is there still some play? Or is it... For good measure, you may as well just go ahead and tighten them down against each other. Just try and tighten them down a little bit. If you don't want to force it, if they're already tight, they will be tight. If they're not, then it will move.